I have owned a competitive cheerleading gym for over 13 years, and I've now scaled that gym to over $1 million a year in annual revenue. And I work with hundreds of gyms around the country who are themselves trying to scale and grow their gyms. These are the 5 reasons that your gym is not growing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Biz Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Cotton, and today we are diving into the 5 reasons that your gym is not growing. Now, I'm going to be really brutal and honest in this episode. So if you are feeling particularly sensitive, I recommend skipping to another episode or putting on your big boy, big girl pants and getting ready for some tough truth, because some of the things I'm going to say may hurt your feelings a little bit, but it is all in the effort of helping you become a better gym owner, growing your gym and growing the sport that I care so much about of competitive cheerleading and tumbling. Now, before we get into the episode, please make sure you've headed on over to Cheer Gym Owners on Facebook and All-Star Cheer Coaches and Owners. That is where we have amazing conversations going on and where you can even engage directly with me via a Facebook post. I do comment regularly on things I see on there that I have something to add to the conversation when I'm not busy recording podcasts, coaching my own teams, running my own gym, running dream camps, or coaching next-gen clients. I try to hop on there and respond to things. And if you are looking to learn more from me or my team, and you've ever wanted to be inside my gym, then you need to get signed up for one of our Cheer Biz accelerators. The first one is October 9th and 10th of 2025 at Oregon Dream Teams. You're going to get to come to my gym and you're going to get to learn in my facility as well as see my systems in action. I'd love to see you here. All right, now let's get into it. So this is a topic that comes up a lot. How do we make our gyms grow? What can we do to increase enrollment? And when you see enrollment dips, and what should you do? And how is the recession impacting your gym? And those other things are frequently talked about in various groups. And I want to talk about the 5 reasons that your gym is not growing. And the last one, I think, is the absolute most important, which is why I'm saving it to the end. So make sure you stay tuned. Number 1 is that you are not leveraging social media correctly. What do I mean by this? So I've talked about this before in other episodes, but the reality is everyone, and I'm literally talking to everyone to include myself, you are not posting to social media enough. You need to post more. 1 post a day, not enough. 2 posts a day, not enough. 3 posts a day, meh, okay. 4, 5, 6. Post until you can't post anymore, and post consistently. It's better to post once a day, every single day, than it is to post 10 posts in a day and then not post again for another 10 days. So please make sure you are posting and posting regularly. Utilize social media. It doesn't all have to be sales. Sell your program by just letting people know who you are. People want to buy from people they feel they have a relationship with. So if you can be posting regularly to social media and help people understand your brand and understand who you are and understand why they want to spend their hard-earned money in your gym, that is of insane and immense value. Can you look at trying to go viral for certain things? Sure, but I don't know that virality and likes is as important to our particular industry as some people may think. It can be beneficial, but ultimately where I want to be viral is in my community. I want the Portland metro area to know Oregon Dream Teams. I want to be viral here, which I'm not, and that I'm going to get to this at the end, but you need to leverage social media to gain awareness within your community. Additionally, you should be leveraging social media for paid marketing. There is still the best bang for your buck doing paid marketing on Facebook, leveraging that to Instagram, and cross-promoting. Paid ads can get you a ton of traction and can get you new clients that you didn't know existed. So making sure that you're leveraging social media correctly, you're engaging regularly, and you're creating content that makes people understand who you are and know why they want to become a part of your gym. So again, reason number 1 is not utilizing social media or not utilizing it correctly. Number two is there is some sort of an issue with your offer. Now, this is a really big one, and I could do an entire episode. In fact, there are entire books written on how to craft your offer. Your offer has to be done correctly. It's so important. And oftentimes, this is the issue that is keeping you from scaling. You may be priced too low. You may be priced too high. You may be over promising and under delivering. You may be under promising to a point that people don't even want to take advantage of it. You're not using guarantees. You're not using scarcity. You're not using urgency. There are so many elements of your offer that you need to take into account when you're releasing any sort of a product. Many times we just release and we say, hey, here's the offer. Join our prep season team, our half season prep team. What is the offer, though, to join the team? Okay, well, what does someone who's joining prep need to know about that? What is it that actually is going to incentivize them? Because the only people that are going to react to something like that is going to be people who already know about cheerleading or already know about prep. So especially when you're marketing your brand new products that to people who are basically a cold market, they're not already in the industry, they don't already know about the sport. Those are the people that you really need to make sure that you're crafting your offer for, to make sure that they understand and they can see the value and they can feel the need to purchase. So oftentimes there's something wrong with our offer. We're making a lot of assumptions about the client, that the client's going to know certain things or think certain things, and oftentimes they are not thinking those things or knowing those things. So you need to make sure you're crafting your offers correctly. It's so important, guys. Like, you need to make sure that that offer is dialed in. And if you need help crafting your offer, that's something that I work with my clients on, and anyone in our NG team can help you with. There are also a number of really great books on how to create a great offer. My favorite one is $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. He is probably one of my favorite people to learn from. I think he does a really good job making things very consumable for anyone who is an entrepreneur. It's a great book, and it's a lot of how I have crafted my own offers using his framework. So if you're looking for a good book, check that one out. It's absolutely phenomenal, and there's no reason for me to write a book on it because he already did it and I can't improve on it. So check that one out and fix your offer. Oftentimes it is the offer that is preventing the enrollment, and it's either the offer on the marketing side or it's the offer when you're trying to close the sale. If you are not converting 75 to 80% or more of the people that are inquiring about your product, then there's something wrong with your offer and your sale process. Something is missing, because if they go into the effort to engage with you, to call you on the phone, to come into your business, especially if they've gone to the effort, they really want to buy your thing. And you now just need to seal the deal. And if you fail to do that, then they're just either a very curious person who was never going to buy, or you missed the mark somewhere in your offer and in your close. Number 3 is your word of mouth isn't what you think it is. Now, I hear from gym owners all the time of our best marketing is word of mouth. We have great word of mouth. We don't do paid marketing because everyone comes in as a referral. It's a word of mouth gym. It's a word of mouth growth strategy. And that's super awesome. We have great word of mouth in a lot of ways, but oftentimes people don't realize that your word of mouth is not actually what you think it is, because people are far more likely to be very boisterous and broad with their negative opinions than they are with their positive opinions. Because when people give referrals, they know that that reflects directly on them. So I'm not going to refer someone to a product that I think might not do them right. I always want to because I'm now putting my name on it. When I say, hey, you should use this thing, I've now attached my name to it. Versus when I say, don't use that thing, no one's going to blame me for not using it. Like, that doesn't necessarily attach my name to it. So what you may not realize is you're not growing because you have burned the capital of goodwill within your community, within the niche that you're trying to sell. And there is actually negative word of mouth that you need to overcome. Now, how do you do that? That's a much longer and more in-depth strategy that you need to take into account, because it's not easy to overcome negative goodwill. That's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of community involvement, and it's going to take a lot of introspection and reinventing yourself and making sure that you're delivering the correct product. And the reality is that negative word of mouth is the easiest thing to build up, because on average, it takes 2 negative experiences for someone to outright not recommend your product to other people, like tell people, oh, don't buy that. Just 2 negative experiences. And it takes well over 10 to 20 positive experiences for someone to go so far as to recommend you and have a lot of positive word of mouth out there to their friends and family. So it can be a really, really tough thing to overcome. You're fighting an uphill battle. You got to be perfect most of the time, and you can make very few mistakes. And when you make a couple, that negative word of mouth can travel really fast. And it may not even be about you. It could be that you have a certain employee that's developing that negative word of mouth for you. So that employee that you've had to have those conversations with of like, hey, I need you to do your job better. I need you to be more engaging with the kids. I need you to be more kind. I need you to be more caring. I need you to have a plan. I need you to not, arrive on time to your shift. All of those different conversations, that employee might be an employee that you need to let go, because the impact that they're having on you is much further than the one athlete that quit because they had a bad experience with that coach. Because that one athlete that had that really bad experience and quit is likely going to go out and tell their other friends about that negative experience as well. So you want to make sure that your goodwill and your word of mouth is positive in the community. Number 4. This is the one I see probably the most. I see gyms that are using social media, although they can be doing it way better, and they are doing paid marketing, and they have an offer that's clear and incentivized. It's not great, but it could do a little bit of work. And your word of mouth is okay. It's fine. You don't have negative word of mouth, negative goodwill in the community, but your enrollment process sucks. You have a crummy website. You have a bad landing page or one that doesn't work. You send people to create 17 accounts and click on 52,000 boxes before they can enroll in something. And then even then it times out and glitches and has problems. Or God forbid, they have to fill out a form and you'll call them to get them enrolled, or they have to call you and get on the phone to actually enroll in one of your processes. Like, you've created this clunky and difficult and friction filled. We like a little bit of friction, but friction filled enrollment process, so much so that people are going to go, you know what, this is just too much trouble. Like, I just don't want to do this. I'm busy. People are lazy. I don't consider myself an overly lazy person, but let me tell you, if you make it difficult for me to give you my money, I'm generally going to not give you my money. Because if it's difficult just to pay you for a product, then my assumption is that things are going to be difficult throughout. The communication is going to be bad throughout. It's going to be clunky again. So you want to make sure that those systems and processes are super smooth. You need to have a functional website. You need to have a good landing page. That also goes back to your offer. That clearly conveys your offer and generates scarcity and urgency and downsells and all those other amazing things that you can be doing. But you need to make that process very frictionless so people can enroll without having to second guess and be asked 19 million times, do you really want to do this? And they're asked every time, do you really want to do this, by another field that they have to fill out, another box, another hoop they have to jump through. All those things create friction in a very negative way. So we want to make sure that we are being incredibly strategic about how our enrollment process looks. And if you need help with that, that's something that I help gym owners all the time dial in and make even better. And I'm even working on in all of my businesses right now. How do we make our enrollment process have the right amount of friction, but not so much that it's deterring clients away? Now, the last one. This is the most important one. And this is where I think some people's egos are going to be hurt just a little bit. The number one reason your gym is not growing is that no one knows you exist. You may feel that you have a really huge impact and that everyone in the community knows who you are. But the reality is that by statistics, it is likely that your community does not really know you exist. Now, there are some gyms that do a really good job of this. They're in very small communities and they're kind of the one-stop shop and everyone does know they exist. Danielle's Gym Twisters would be a perfect example of this. They're a large facility in a relatively small, medium-sized town, and everyone knows that Twister Sports is where you go for youth activities in the area. That is what they're known for. But even then, I bet you if you went around the Warrensburg, Missouri, I might even try it. I'm going to be there in a couple weeks. And I'm going to say, hey, do you know what Twister Sports is? I'm just going to ask random people, not people with kids, but just random people. I bet you there's going to be a lot of people be like, oh yeah, isn't that thing over on the side of the highway? They'll know that much. And that's in a very small community where it's a very well-known entity. In my area, in Tigard, Oregon, in the Portland metro area, where there is over 1 million people within 25, mile radius, there's millions of people. No one knows we exist. And we're one of the biggest single location gyms in the state. We are the biggest single location gym in the state. And still, I would argue that no one knows we exist. And that is the battle that I am constantly fighting, is getting to a point where people know who we are. They know where we are. They know we exist. That I want it to be that everyone in Tigard and Beaverton and Hillsboro and our surrounding area and Lake Oswego all know what Oregon Dream Teams is. They all have heard of us. If they have kids, they know who we are. They have heard of us. They know that we're the place to go for birthday parties, for a dance, for preschool, for tumbling, for cheer teams. Like, they know that we are the place to be at. And that is a battle that I'm constantly fighting, because I have to separate myself from the white noise. We're always battling for people's attention. And we are fighting a very difficult battle, because we're fighting against people who have way bigger budgets like that. We're fighting against Coca-Cola and Ford and all of those, Tesla, these mega companies, on top of other companies that are just fighting for your people's attention. They just want their eyeballs on their app. Things like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, their entire incentive is to keep you on the platform longer. That's how they get advertising dollars. And we're having to battle against that. So the reality is that no one knows you exist. You may be very important, and the people that you serve their lives are enriched by what you do. Think about how many more people's lives you can enrich if more people knew about you, if more people knew what your product was. So if you can fix that one problem and you can make it so everyone in your area knows you exist, your issue with scaling will disappear. Because everyone will know you are there, and everyone will think of you when it comes to utilizing you for your services. So you want everyone to know you exist, and you do that by leveraging some of the things we already talked about. All right, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed my 5 reasons that your gym isn't growing. I hope you got something out of it. I hope I didn't hurt anyone's feelings too badly. Thank you for listening. It's always a pleasure. And with that, we will catch you on the next episode.